Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NYSERDA Clean Energy Communities Knowledge Academy. The recording you're about to view is just one in a series which aims to help educate local governments and stakeholders on how to navigate the program, complete high-impact actions, and advance clean energy projects. In the Clean Energy Communities program, local governments complete actions to earn points and gain eligibility for grants. This presentation is focused on activities associated with the Climate Smart Communities Certification High Impact Action. In this second tutorial video, we will review the Certification Actions section of the Climate Smart Communities portal, identify potential certification actions for your community, review how to access what other certified communities have done, and get started with selecting certification actions for your community. After becoming a registered Climate Smart community, you can pursue certification by completing certification actions and accruing the necessary amount of points. Certification comes in two levels, bronze or silver, depending on how many points your community accrues. Points are earned by completing actions through submitting documentation in the Climate Smart Communities portal, applying for certification during one of 3 application periods per year, and being approved for certification. Now I'll provide a brief overview of how to view actions, points, and certification requirements. In the next video, I will go into more detail about how to complete actions with the help of your Clean Energy Communities coordinator and apply for certification. To learn about the actions, head over to climatesmart.ny.gov and select Actions and Certification. Then select Actions. Here you will see a list of 12 items or pledge elements, which are categories of actions a community can take. Within each pledge element, there are actions that are categorized as either mandatory, priority, or neither. On the right-hand side of the page, you will notice the certification criteria box, which shows the action and points requirements for either bronze or silver certification. For bronze certification, actions from across 4 different pledge elements are required, whereas silver requires 7. Mandatory actions are those that any community must complete for certification. There are a total of 2 mandatory actions, Climate Smart Communities Task Force and Climate Smart Communities Coordinator, and they are under Pledge Element 1, as indicated by the bronze mandatory and silver mandatory icons beneath the names of the action when a pledge element is expanded. Priority actions are those that are not all required. However, a minimum of any 3 priority actions must be completed if pursuing bronze certification, and 6 for silver. Just as with mandatory actions, priority actions have an icon beneath the name of an action when a pledge element is expanded. To see detailed requirements for any given action, simply click on the name of the action you are interested in learning about, and a pop-up window will appear with that action's description. In this window, you will see explanations of why the action is important, how to implement it, the submission requirements, and other helpful tips and resources for completion. Don't forget to reach out to your Clean Energy Communities coordinator if you have questions or are interested in pursuing climate smart community actions. Now you are ready to start planning your community's path to becoming a certified climate smart community. You'll want to review the various pledge elements and actions that the program lists. Another important thing to consider is that some climate smart community actions overlap with NYSERDA's Clean Energy Communities program. If your community is considering participating in both, we'd recommend reviewing the Clean Energy Communities and Climate Smart Communities crosswalk document. To locate the crosswalk document, go to climatesmart.ny.gov, select Actions and Certification, and then select Actions. You'll find the document here under Updated CEC/CSC Crosswalk. You'll notice that the Clean Energy Communities High Impact Actions listed have a corresponding Climate Smart Communities certification action. Another important document to review is the Climate Smart Communities Certification Checklist, also accessible from this page by selecting PDF of the revised action checklist here. This list covers all available actions, how many points each action is worth, whether it is mandatory or priority, or is also part of the CEC program, and if there may be funding available through the DEC CSC grant program. If you're looking for a specific keyword to see if there's an action corresponding to that word, such as water, use the Control or Command F function to find that keyword within the document. After reviewing the materials and familiarizing yourself with the actions, you may see some actions that appear suitable to your community. Completing the initial review is an important step in becoming a certified climate-smart community. After identifying some of the actions that your community is interested in pursuing or believes it has completed, it's best to set up a meeting with your Clean Energy Communities coordinator to discuss the actions in greater depth and begin creating a plan for your community. Now we will review exploring certification actions. Any planning of actions done while exploring will not be saved. We'll cover how to save actions for planning purposes in the next section, selecting certification actions. If you're exploring certification actions for the first time, go to the Action Totals Calculator by going to climatesmart.ny.gov, selecting Actions and Certification, and Actions. This page allows you to sift through the actions and explore the ones you believe are attainable for your community. If you're interested in looking for a certain type of action, whether mandatory or priority, tick the corresponding filter beneath the Search Actions bar, like so. For an action related to something specific, such as energy, type the keyword in the Search Actions bar to narrow the list of actions and select Search Actions. In the drop-down for every action, there is the option to select Planned. Selecting Planned from this action list will temporarily save this preference only for the session you are in. The Action Totals calculator on the right will add up potential points for actions marked planned, but will not retain this information once you leave the site. Now we will discuss selecting certification actions, where planned certification actions may actually be saved. After you have explored certification actions and are ready to select those actions your community intends to complete, sign into your account and access your community's application by selecting Dashboard if you are not already there, and then select Begin Application. Note, the Action Totals calculator here automatically defaults to actions completed and approved. So if you would like to select for planned, simply tick the box under the Search Actions bar. Now the Action Totals calculator is selected for planned. To view how many points your community could accrue from actions selected as planned, first check Planned from the Filter section beneath the Search Actions bar. The Filter section can be used to filter for any other action status, such as completed or action type, mandatory and priority. The Action Totals calculator will now reflect the number of points your community could earn if it were to complete planned actions. The Action Totals calculator also gives you an idea of how many more actions you will need to complete to earn enough points for certification, depending on the level of certification your community is pursuing, as noted in the certification criteria box over here. It is recommended that communities planning to submit a certification action aim for an excess of points to provide a cushion. In the event that any action submitted is not awarded points, but you submitted with a cushion of excess points, your community may still qualify for certification. Once you have determined your path to certification and are ready to dive in, you'll want to learn more about the actions you'd like to start with. Typically, communities start with mandatory actions as they're required for any level of certification. Feel free to discuss your path to certification with your Clean Energy Communities coordinator. To begin, it is best to view and download all the action descriptions you're interested in by clicking on the action title and opening the PDF version from the pop-up window. Within the Climate Smart Communities portal, you can also find submission documents from other certified communities that have completed the action you're interested in. Looking at what other communities have been approved for is great guidance for what is approvable by the certification application reviewers. We recommend reviewing submission documents for more recently certified communities. Standards for the actions may have changed, and the documentation from earlier certified communities may no longer satisfy requirements for an action. To find submitted documentation for an action from other communities, head over to climatesmart.ny.gov and click anywhere on the map to get to the Participating Communities page. Once on the Participating Communities page, find the By Certification Action list beneath Filter This Map. Then select the action you are looking for from the By Certification Action list. For this example, we will look into Pledge Element 1. I selected a PE1 action, CSC Task Force, then hit Filter at the bottom. Next, zoom in using the plus button on the bottom right side of the map and select a community. I selected the village of Nyack, which is currently bronze certified. To view the report, right-click and select Open Link in New tab. Scroll through the report to the Actions Implemented section and find the action you're looking for, or use the Find feature with Command or Control and F to search for the specific action name. For this example of Climate Smart Communities Task Force, I will review the two documents uploaded under PE1 Action CSC Task Force. To do that, right-click and open these documents in a new tab. Once you note the steps to complete and what documentation to submit for an action, go ahead and get started. If you have questions or need help navigating the process, feel free to reach out to your Clean Energy Communities coordinator. In the next video, we'll cover how to submit an action and review the certification application process and cycle. Thank you for your participation in the NYSERDA Clean Energy Communities Knowledge Academy video series. Visit NYSERDA's website for additional resources and support, and to identify the Clean Energy Communities Program Coordinator designated to your region.